All right, guys, we have a look here at the Houston Texans over under 9.5 as their season win total. A surprise last year. CJ Stroud comes into the league and lights it up. D'Amico Ryans did really well as a coach. Bobby Slowick calling plays, especially in that playoff game, man, was excellent. So they took a step. They came all the way back as the Jaguars kind of fell away in their own right to come back and steal the division there and get a home playoff game and win a playoff game too. So you get your first, what's supposed to be, your rookie quarterback or new quarterback stinker out of the way in the first playoff game. He played well. They won the game. They dominated the game. And then he got his stinker out of the way in Baltimore. So you get all that out of the way in the first year. You have the money tied up nowhere. You can put the money wherever you like because the quarterback's not getting quarterback money. And you can go ahead and build the roster like they have. And they've done a really, really good job so far. So let's jump into that roster. Well, we'll jump into the coaching staff. D'Amico Ryans, really good defensively. Really good at getting his team up. Not much to say about D'Amico. He did really well last year. And Bobby Slowick was the guy you're wondering, is this the guy? Season starts off and they're running the ball a little bit more than you would like. But then the playoff game came and you're like, oh, I guess he gets it. So we'll see what another year Bobby Slowick does with this offense. But decent returns in the first season, despite some hiccups along the way. But we'll go to the roster. See quarterback, CJ Stroud. Incredible first year. He was my favorite quarterback coming out of that class. His Georgia game, I know a lot of people were like, this is Georgia's his one game, but it was against the best team in college football, the best defense. And I know a lot of guys draft on ceiling, so I didn't know why his ceiling wasn't taken seriously. And it looks like he has the highest ceiling now, and he was excellent that first year, and hopefully he can take even another step here and kind of push himself toward that top 5 kind of area, though he's not there yet. So we'll relax on that. Davis Mills, decent backup. They also have Case Keenum, who's okay, but I believe he's hurt at the moment. So decent quarterback room, as you would think. You got a top 10 quarterback theoretically, and some solid backups just in case he has to miss a game or two. Running back, don't love this room. Joe Mixon's not someone I like in particular. Damian Pierce has really fallen off after his first year. Ogunbowale is, a body. So, you can get a couple snaps out of him, some unique snaps that Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce really don't bring. But Joe Mixon seems like the guy who's going to get most of the carries and touches. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of Joe Mixon. This isn't a step down or anything, but I don't think it's a huge step up either. Wide receiver room, this is a crazy room. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, John Mechie has looked good. Robert Woods is still on the team. It's a crazy 1, 2, 3, 4 for sure. Stephon Diggs, I don't think he's washed. I know a lot of people were saying he's washed. I think he was just hurt toward the end of last year and moody, and that's just who he's going to be, and it is what it is. But players like him, they get moody a little bit. They kind of want to leave, and performance dips. You had an injury on top of that, and it's kind of like his perfect storm of not being involved in the offense toward the back half of the Bills season. But I don't think he's washed. I still think he's very, very good. Nico Collins was excellent last year. Not much more you can say. He was really, really good, top 10. Tank Dell's really, really solid. John Mechie has all the tools and stuff. He missed the year before with his, I believe it was his cancer treatment. So good to have him back, and he looks like a really fun player to have in this team here also. Second-round pick, of course, so the draft pedigree's there, and now he's got his foot in the ground, gets an off-season under him, and we'll see. So this is a really great 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at tight end, you have Brevin Jordan and Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, another good body, a great pass catcher, big guy at tight end. And they have 5 pass catchers here that are really, really good. So you got to love the skill position group here, or the pass catchers at least. Offensive line's all right. Laramie Tunsil's an excellent, excellent left tackle. Shaq Mason, really good right guard. After that, it's kind of okay, but it's a step up. This was the most injured offensive line last year. They were playing mix and match all season long, and they still did well enough. Kenyon Green's okay, Scruggs is okay, Titus Howard's all right. So it's okay. And you got 2 really good players in there. So, if you can get a step from someone, it becomes a really good offensive line, and being healthy will just be a big step in the right direction for this group. Defensive line, pretty good. Edge is really good. Will Anderson had a really good rookie year there. Danielle Hunter is a really great pickup. Even the way they contracted him to the team was really great, I felt like. So a really, really great 1-2 edge punch there. Autry's solid too, though he's suspended for a bit. The inside's okay. Mario Edwards, Fadukasi, nothing brilliant, but solid enough so that it's not a giant glaring weakness in the middle of the defense. Linebacker's pretty good, and it's got potential. Christian Harris grew quite a bit last year in his pass coverage, especially. And if he can take another step there, I mean, this is a really good linebacker room all of a sudden. He was top 25 really last year at linebacker. And, you take another step in pass coverage, that'll really shoot you up the board and shoot the unit up the board. Al-Shaair comes in. He was really, really good, but he played less than 400 snaps in San Francisco. So you got to see if this is a guy you want to kind of go forward with. You do want to go forward with him. You bring him into the team, but there are some variables there that you don't know 100%. Limited snaps in a really good defense with, a really good linebacker group next to him as well. So we'll see with Aziz, but as we said, he was excellent in his limited snaps, and hopefully he can bring that into a full starter's role. Secondary is interesting. Derek Stingley, under the radar, it felt like really, really good year last year. And another step from Stingley, and he's a top 5, top 3 kind of corner. He's that good last year. And if he, as I said, no reason he can't take another step. And if he does take another step, we're getting up there in terms of how good he is. Lassiter probably going to play on the other side, a rookie. It's a difficult position for rookies to come into the NFL and play corner successfully in their first season. It's very difficult. Miles Bryant at nickel's okay. They bring in Jeff Okudah as well. A depth body, whether he ever comes into his own. He's shown glimpses, solid here and there last couple of years, but, a good depth piece. Safety's pretty decent. Jimmy Ward is solid, though he took a little bit of a step back last year. I really like Jalen Petrie, and we'll see if he can go ahead and take a step, the younger safety here. So another step from Stingley, and you have a really, really good secondary here, or a good corner group. If Lassiter can play just average football there on the other side of a really good Stingley. So it's interesting. You're going to have good edge pressure, which should help the secondary as well, and good coverage linebackers theoretically. So you can get a good coverage grade here out of this defense. And, you get D'Amico Ryans, who is really good at making these guys play above their station as well. So potential all over the place, some really good additions, as we said. Danielle Hunter is a nice addition. Al-Shaair, if he keeps up with the San Francisco form, is a really good addition. Stephon Diggs is a really good addition. So some nice, good talent bought in, and plenty of young talent that's continuing to grow. It's a really, really good mix. Schedule's interesting. First 5 are winnable. At Indianapolis, it's a division game on the road to start the season, but winnable. Home to Chicago, I really like them there. It hasn't come along yet, and it won't come out until the day of the game, but we've laid 3.5 with Houston already. Home to Chicago. At Minnesota's winnable. Home to Jacksonville's winnable, and home to Buffalo's winnable. So those first 5 are winnable. Then you're at New England, winnable. And then you go to Green Bay, which would be a really incredible game. I'm really looking forward to that one. The 2 teams that everyone's super high on after their kind of unexpected jump last year. 2 quarterbacks that took unexpected jumps last year as well. So should be a fun barometer game there. Then you get Indianapolis at home, and then the schedule really starts to heat up. At the Jets, home to the Lions, at the Cowboys in a 3-game stretch. Then you get Tennessee and at Jacksonville before your bye, a really late bye, and then the last 4 are really difficult. Miami at home, at Kansas City, Baltimore, and then at Tennessee. There are no gimmies there. So this feels like a team, I don't want to say falls apart, but their difficult games all come in like a row at the end of the season, and that's not something you necessarily want on your way into the playoffs. You kind of want to glide your way in. But if you're going fight after fight after fight on your way into the playoffs, it could be potentially a problem there. But the schedule lines up pretty well, and it lines up with our bet here. Texans to have 4 wins in their first 5 games at plus 250, a 50-cent bet here. All 5 of these are winnable to me. At Indianapolis and at Minnesota, there are 2 road games. And then you get Chicago at home, I think you win. Jacksonville at home is tight, and then Buffalo at home is tight. I just need them to win the 2 road games, and then 2 of the 3 home games, split. If they can go into those last 2 and be 3-0, go Jacksonville, Buffalo at home being 3-0. I definitely think they can split there. But 4-1 after those first 5, it lines up for them. 3 home games, 2 winnable road games. I really like that position there. So Texans to have 4 wins in the first 5 games at plus 250, a 50-cent bet. And that is our preview for the Houston Texans.